Congress Legislature Party mentagasi sajan kelayata ya kejunglong jumban kejela no COVID-19 kamtam igijing bayi kendo dikpaj ba hak jela unong ilam ka CLP ubadiru Menteri Ramba Barim kejela u Dr. Mukrul Sama ulapan pau kejing songkhia ya kejing posted ki bayi bet uknyang jingpang sya kejeka nong kendong na kabalong bakam simla don satya kejeka ne jingle tes kebabiang hak kejeka nong kendong kabala banwana jing hadian habut ulang bagi sekar ke depan penjur ya kejing letes hagi jeka nong kendong banyada na kejing po jong kenyang jingpang dah keba pendan kam ya ki CHC PHC bat ki sub center ha gabai galiang Dr. Mukul ulang bagi sekar jela ke depan tho syaka sekar pening ban pan jing pensyai ha gabai dei bagi jing penjalan ya kejing ITK ke ba arsin ulang bo yoi ba kendan keno kejing pensisha da kejing wat benia ban haban penjalan na kejing ITK ke baningkong bat ke ba arsin naga khadar tayo syaka khandu tayo unong ilam ke Kongres loong bakal adon ke jing od na kisnong ki basya khangdam baki kendu jing ban yo ikmar ba mardi namar ki jingai na ki yo ki hat ha ka ba la ban rap sarkar ka de ban pej baki tu kisnong ke de ban yo ikmar bam ulong bakat kum ke Pandemic Act Rajarsan kala kren syai bakade ke kamram jong ke sarkar ban penbiang ikmar bam syak itu ki bakendu jing na ka dau jong kane ke klam
COVID-19 pandemic related issue. The concern about whatever grievances are being received from the general population and the concern about inputs which suggest that cases are rising in the rural areas and the quantum of tests against the reported cases of suspected COVID-19 infections in the rural areas are being seen as inadequate. In absence of adequate testing, we will end up in not being able to identify as to where the virus is hiding. And therefore, the testing becomes crucial. In fact, it is one of the weapons in containing the virus from spreading. Therefore, the CLP observed with concern this particular challenge and where the government needs to ramp up its capability across the state in respect of ensuring adequate testing proportionate to the inputs that is being received by concerned district authorities. Now we all know that across the state we have infrastructures, we have the network through the CNRD blocks, through the public health centers, through the sub centers, and many other resources which is available under the command of the government. They must be effectively put to use in this regard and get all the necessary inputs so that they are able to respond appropriately. In absence of appropriate inputs, it is only natural that our attention will definitely be not drawn to those areas of concern. Therefore, the government needs to ramp up all the necessary measures that have been put in place. In other words, the measures that have been put in place are not considered adequate. Therefore, it must be ramped up. It is an uphill task. It's a challenging time. The demand to cope with the challenges will always be there. Therefore, continuous review and auditing of this is a must, based on which the corrective ramping up wherever necessary and optimally utilizing the resources of the government, utilizing the manpower under the command of the government is very, very crucial. We must have a very, very realistic approach, a very, very scientific approach. In addition to that, we are receiving complaints after complaints from the people across the state in regard to non-availability of any support for the households who are affected whenever areas are declared as containment zone, restricting the movement of the people. Now we all are aware as to how, when an area is declared as a containment zone or micro containment zone. It is always not with an advance notice. It is on the basis of the number of positive cases following various testing protocols based on the inputs received regarding the likely incidence of the cases, the disease. And the moment positive cases are detected to certain percentage of the numbers of the total patients tested, areas of concern are notified as containment or micro-containment zone, following the proper SOPs. Now what happens to the residents? That was what was being articulated to us by all those members of the society, the local public leaders, various social organizations. There is sudden dislocation of economic activities, number one. But the most difficult position to which they are put in place is regarding sudden disruption of access to essential commodities, particularly in rural areas where there is no grocery shops in the localities, in the villages, where people have to walk miles to reach to the nearest market, nearest grocery shop. And what happens when they cannot come out from the house, from the locality, from the villages? Because people don't have advanced storage of the provisions. Therefore, there is a need for the government to understand this hardship to which the people are put to, the hardship to which the people are subjected to whenever we need to embark upon these measures to contain the spread of virus. The people who are residing in those villages which are declared or notified as containment zone obviously become the victim of the disaster as per the definition of the victim of disaster under the Disaster Management Act 2005. What happens when you mitigate a problem of other natural calamities? Say for example, a flash floods, when people have to be shifted and sheltered in relief camps. The onus of responsibility of providing the general relief is vested with the authorities, with the government. So, COVID-19 pandemic has been notified under the same act. Therefore, when we are notifying COVID-19 as a disaster under the provision of the Disaster Management Act, the victims obviously are required to be covered in consistent with the provision of the Act. That means the victims must be taken care of. Here the victims include the patients who have been diagnosed with the disease and also the families, the households who are affected whenever a locality or a village is notified as containment zone. So therefore the government has been found wanting in addressing this concern of the people. I have had talked to many of the leaders, many of the headmen, the Nokmas of different villages, and they have expressed their anguish, they have expressed their helplessness and the quantum of sufferings that they are going through. Therefore, it is only in the fitness of things that the government take cognizance of this problem. Government understand their responsibility in consistent with the provisions of the law as per the mandate of the law. In addition to this, since the cases are reported to be spreading in the rural areas, we have to see how we can minimize the suffering of the people during this second wave, and how we can contain the spread of the disease, so that we don't end up seeing the mutant variant emerging from our own backyard in our own state, and thereby somehow see ourselves unprepared to take on the challenges of any third impending inevitable third wave. There's another matter of concern. Now, looking at the trend as to how the virus is mutating, we for sure know that we have to be prepared to face the inevitable third wave of the pandemic. And when we are talking about the likely emergence of the third wave, when and how fast is a question. Now, look at the vaccine policy of the government. The interval or the gap between the first jab and the second jab, which was earlier indicated at 6 to 7 weeks, have been increased to 12 to 16 weeks. And when we try to look at the reason for this sudden increase between the first dose and the second dose, we could not find any scientific answer. There is no scientific answer in as far as this gap is concerned. Therefore, the state government must take up this issue with Government of India. We must be realistic and we must be scientific. It cannot be based on somebody's whims and fancies. We cannot deviate from ground reality. We cannot deviate from whatever is considered realistic based on scientific understanding, based on scientific data. Now, therefore, even if you're looking at this gap of 12 to the designated gap, the revised gap, spreading from 12 to 16 weeks, it's a long gap between the first and the second jab. That means by next 12 and 16 weeks also you will not have enough number of the population covered by 2 doses of vaccination. That means you will not have the population who are fully equipped with the right kind of arsenal in the instant case through vaccination to face the challenge of this pandemic. To face the kind of challenge of the pandemic wherein we need to minimize the brunt of the pandemic on the overall health infrastructure and health facilities, and minimize the number of sufferings and loss of precious lives. Will the virus wait for 12 and 16 weeks to show its resurgence in the third wave? We don't know. We hope that it doesn't happen at all. But the trend indicates that it might strike at any point of time. And therefore, this particular vaccine policy strategy, I have tweeted today on this regard, reflecting my concern that nation as a whole is likely to be found unprepared to face the onslaught of the inevitable third wave because of this revised vaccine policy, wherein the people who have received first jab will have to wait for 12 to 16 weeks. We see the third wave striking sooner than that. That means the whole population will be seen unprotected, uncovered by the vaccine. So this must be taken up at with an appropriate amount of seriousness with Government of India, and prevail upon Government of India to take a call which should be guided by complete scientific interpretation and not by anybody's individual opinion or strategy.